Well, I think it's, well, you work as hard as anyone, and I think as much as the schedule was very heavy. I've done about 5 films now back to back. Activity itself is one thing, a lot of work, a lot of aggravation, and problems, I suppose. But I'm fortunate in that I have a kind of balanced metabolism. I eat and drink as much as I like.
Isn't that lucky for you?
Yes, I suppose so.
Tell me about the movie. How do you describe it?
Well, without being biased, I think it's the...
I'll be biased.
Well, I will anyway. I think it's the best cast of the Bond films. For those who have a sort of nostalgia for the concept that I had for playing Bond, I think they'll be satisfied in that one went back more to the original idea of a detective kind of story and pushed the human elements into the foreground as opposed to the hardware, and still maintained the balance of the hardware when it was an indigenous part of the story. It's got exotic settings, and the Bahamas, south of France, England, Middle East, and visually I think it's exceptionally well photographed by Dougie Slocum.
Right.
And hopefully it will also satisfy some of the younger generation that may not be familiar with myself playing it.
With yourself playing it, right? You played it, you seem to, essentially not thinking about the fact that it's been 13 years since you made one. In other words, you're older now, certainly about 13 years than when you last made one.
Yeah.
But you played it the same. I mean, it's martinis, women's song, action, bang, and doing huge physical stuff. What was the decision in your mind? Was there a discussion about how are you going to play it? Or?
Well, we talked at length whether one would go...
I don't mean you should have been in a wheelchair. I don't mean that.
No. But 13 years is a long time. And in fact, it's 21 years, I think, since Dr. No. Oh. And we did talk about the possibility of doing it no hairpiece with a moustache or a beard, or where would one be? And, you know, the possibility of preparing for the bedroom scene by getting up into the bathroom, you know, and then it created more problems than it solved. And also there were certain legal restrictions about what one could do and not do.
The dance scene, the tango,
oh, yeah.
I just absolutely hooted. Where did that come from?
Well, we had the idea, and then one would really have liked more time to have practiced it a bit. And also, that's another element that's sort of a wee bit risky. It's like the game, too, you know, something like Atari, making with the rules a bit more strenuous than the normal pinball game.
Right.
But I don't think half the kids would know what a tango is.
You're right. But it was fun. Was it fun for you to do it?
Well, Kim Bassinger's a dancer.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know how much fun it was for her, but it worked, I think, in the context of the story. One was a wee bit doubtful about it, and then, like all of these things, unless you choose to go full steam ahead and don't give any signals that you might be a wee bit tentative, right, it comes off.
How are you and Roger Moore different? At first, I understand that Roger, you were going to have Roger do a little cameo, or he was going to do a little walk-on, or do something. What was that was
the idea, the kind of punch at the end. I don't even remember whose idea it was, but I was going to be coming down Piccadilly with Kim Basinger, who plays Domino in the film, and she was going to react to somebody she passed, and I looked round, and it would be Roger, who would say, you know, never say never again.
How do you see you and Roger playing it differently when you see what Roger's done? And I know you're friends.
Well, we're good chums, Roger and I. No, I think the basic difference is quite fundamental in that I've based most of it on credibility and reality, as it were, and finding as much humor as I can in the circumstance and situations, whereas I think Roger goes primarily for the humor at whatever cost. And, you know, the result is that there are more probable sight gags and visual gags in Rogers.
Right.
I prefer the reverse.
Sean Connery last week, and tomorrow we'll have more of my conversation with Sean Connery. A new movie, which is called Never Say Never Again. The first James Bond movie was Dr. No. That came out in 1963. By then, Sean Connery had been acting for over 10 years. When he was here with me last week, we talked about other jobs and other careers he might have considered. What early on occurred to you that you might do with your life if you hadn't become an?
Well, at one stage, and I was on tour, and well, I was an actor by then, but I hadn't decided to be an actor. I was on tour in South Pacific, and I had to make a decision about being a soccer player. I was 22.
A pro, yeah.
Yeah, and
what were you in South Pacific?
I played a character called Lieutenant Buzz Adams, and
who flew down to check out the right.
That's right.
Lieutenant Adams.
That?
I remember. I played Tibet. Go ahead. That's the whole.
Did you really?
Yeah, but not on Broadway. It was a small company. But go ahead. Excuse me. So you played Buzz Adams, yeah?
No, I played Buzz Adams, and then but I had not really decided to be an actor. I had just been in London for a Mr. Universe contest, and I had heard about this.
So that's true. You did a Mr. Universe contest.
Yeah.
Representing
Scotland in the tall man's class.
In the tall man's class.
That's over 5'9" or something, but of course came absolutely nowhere. It was won by an American chap called Bill Pearl, who had just come out of the Marines or something. But Americans then, and as it were, it was a great disillusionment for me when I came to London and met all these people, because we all played soccer and swam and were quite athletic, and the guys I met wouldn't run for a bus in case they lost some of their bulk. You know, they were enormous, and I sort of laid on, you know. Right. I like to think one was more classical.
What was that like, though? Did you have to wear the little briefs and stand there and pose and do all of those things? Or
oh,
what
yeah,
did
you had to come up on the stage and do a routine. You know, you came down to London for it. And it was quite an event in one's life. Right. But I had already done some of that when I was at the Art College in Edinburgh, modelling. You know, you had to just wear a sort of G-string and
right.
45 minutes still and 10-minute break.
If you hadn't become an actor, or was there any other choice?
Well, the
real choice.
There's no real choice. With me, I'd done many jobs, but I left school at 13. I had nobody knocking the door down offering me employment, and so I would try and do as many things as possible. But until I decided to become an actor, my future was not at all assured.
How comfortable are you with the fact that you didn't complete as what we think of as completing a formal education?
It used to be a terrific handicap, but only to me. I was the only one that was aware of it. And then I used to be terrifically impressed by people when I was touring and play, because I met many in adverse situations and many different people. And then when I did my own sort of educational course across the country, and as I've got older, I realize that it's not as important as you make it, providing you have a sense of perspective about things. And as when you're dealing with professional people in all walks of life, that if they cannot explain it to you in a simple way, then there's something invariably wrong with it.
When you think about all of this work, what do you see as your kind of contribution to filmdom, or us who have seen you and enjoyed you in the movies? How do you see what you do?
Well, I would like to think that there's a sustained element of pleasure about it. I don't want this to sound like an obituary.
No.
Or a eulogy. But enjoyment. And to be as of wide and diverse and interesting and humanly stimulating. There's nothing more exciting than working with a group of people, albeit grips, wardrobe, sets,
camera,
everything,
director, yeah.
and it's working and going well. To me, it's utopia.
If you got up in the morning and said, "Today I'm going to do exactly what would bring me the most pleasure for the whole day, what would it be?
Well, as I said earlier, I think if I'm going to go to work with a group that I'm very sort of enthusiastic and anticipating to work with, and finish a day very tired, as it were, have time to go and hit a few balls on the golf course, and the light just going, and have a few good drinks, and then have a terrific dinner, and then my wife would come and collect me somewhere.
Sean, it's great to see you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And for all the pleasure you have brought so many of us.
Thank you.